work. Thank you so much, sir. Secondly, and it's not on the agenda, but being chair, I have this thing here, so I get to do awesome things. Mr. Sanders has served our country honorably as a Navy vet, and I was hoping that he would kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Ms. Bennett, thank you so much for sending out the agenda, the minutes from the last meeting, and then also an updated work that we did last time. Before you, you should have the November 7, 2025 meeting minutes. If you'd like a minute to review those minutes. And as you're reviewing those, I'd also like to acknowledge our special guest and note taker here from the county clerk's office. Can you remind me your name? It's Haley Wilson. I knew that, but I was just testing if she knew that. So thank you, Miss Haley, for being here. Any edits, comments, changes, suggestions to the November 7, 2025 minutes? Hearing none, if there is a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept.
By Ms. Gibson, second.
I'll second.
By Mr. Goodpaster. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes carry. Thank you so much. Okay. The fourth thing on the agenda is consideration of the comprehensive review and revision of the Knox County Code of Ethics. I'd also like to remind everybody, there's got to, what do we have, 500,000 people watching the last stream, Ms. Bennett? Okay, like 400,000. I don't want to be out of control here. If anybody is watching, please know that you can sign up for the public forum, which will be at the end of the meeting. We certainly encourage and love public input, and I want to thank you for that. Mr. Sanders has worked very, very hard and sent us an email early this morning regarding some of the suggestions and discussions here on the Code of Ethics. And Mr. Sanders, I can't thank you enough for your hard work.
Sorry.
I have not had a chance to review those, as the sheriff would be happy to know. I did not read those on my way in driving. So just a point of note. Thank you, Sheriff Spangler. With that said, I think we have two ways to go here because I want to appreciate Mr. Sanders' hard work here. My thought was we can incorporate there's 10 sections in the Code of Ethics right now as it stands. And hey, there's Mr. Hilliard. I'll pause for 1 second and let him get. Woo-hoo. Good morning, Mr. Hilliard. Great to see you, sir. We want to make sure you have everything, sir, your notes, and we'll let you get settled here for a couple seconds. Miss Bennett, does he have a packet?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. All right. Mr. Hilliard, okay to move forward, sir? Thank you. So excited you're here. Miss Bennett, is Mr. Sanders' work product uploaded into the shared folder, or Mr. Sanders, is it?
I did not upload it. I should explain that technically,
Sure.
when I do something on behalf of a body, that's technically attorney-client privileged.
Okay.
The privilege does not belong to me, it belongs to the committee.
Okay.
So you all have the right to disclose it publicly, but
Okay.
I don't.
Wonderful.
So I should not be uploading things like that or asking it be uploaded. If that is the wish of the committee to upload it and discuss it, and there are no state secrets here, feel free, but I can't do that myself.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For the benefit of the public, thank you for saying that, for the benefit of your help. So this is what I would propose, and definitely open to anything. I would suggest that we absorb this work product over the next month and bring forward the pieces, parts that need to be had for our next meeting. If you're okay with that Mr. Sanders presented?
Just to clarify, it's the one with the comments? This,
According to Ms. Bennett, it's the second one. I think the easiest distinction is it has blue line as well as red line. The blue line comments are mine, the red lines are ones that other folks have made previously. I think Mr. Kennedy is primarily responsible for putting together.
We blame Mr. Kennedy for everything. Thank you. So with that being said, we have this packet now. It's also in our email. Again, don't reply, don't comment to the email, just as a reminder of work product and the Sunshine Law in the state of Tennessee. Again, my thanks and gratitude to Mr. Sanders for doing this great work. I would suggest again, then put to the committee that we digest this. We come back to it next month. And then also for the sections that we're going to continue to review today, we can also look to Mr. Sanders' work product at the same time. Does that sound fair? Mr. Kennedy, I heard bobbing over there.
No, you're good. I can save this to the OneDrive too, because that's limited to just us anyway. So
Okay.
just to have a good central repository for it. And then as we move forward, we can look at merging his suggestions and changes into the living document that we've got that hopefully will be the finalized version at the end of it.
Mr. Sanders, comment?
That's certainly that's up to the committee. Again, what you do with the work that I have given you once I have given it to you, as long as it is the decision of the committee and not an individual within the committee, if you see that distinction, that's fine.
Wonderful, thank you. Again, let us digest this over the next month, and then we could put forward to the public after discussion and live where we need to go next with that.
Sure.
All right? Wonderful. All right, so we are now in the Code of Ethics and the work product, which is available to the public and drafted. Mr. Kennedy or Ms. Bennett, do you all remember, did we finish off with Section 7 and we were going into Section 8?
correct.
Woo-hoo. All right. So again, just for the benefit of the public and those joining us, and then also a reminder to the committee, there were suggestions that were put forth in the work product a couple months ago. And it is labeled as the Knox County Code of Ethics. And within that were red-lined potential discussion points, nothing approved, nothing. And again, as a reminder to the public and to the board, we're only making recommendations that will be presented to the county commission, and it's the county commission's final grace and authority that will approve or push back on our recommendations. All right, Mr. Kennedy, Section 8 then. Yes, sir? All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So please, any comments that anybody has, please jump in. You have before you Section 8 Ethics Committee. There shall be a Knox County Ethics Committee consisting of 9 citizen members. And just as point of order in this meeting, we're going to stop at the end of this ethics, Code of Ethics today, go into review Mr. Sanders' comments, come back out with work product and additions for the next meeting to codify what we'd like to recommend on the Code of Ethics, and then we'll move to procedures, to the meeting after that, okay? Commissioner, just reaching out to you. Does that make sense, ma'am? Thank you. All right. Ethics Committee, we have page 10 in front of you. Any suggested changes there? There is a red line on the top of page 11 and a M added. The M in red. Thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy. So that's already within the Code of Ethics. The minutes and other records of the Ethics Committee shall be maintained by the county clerk and shall be filed in the office of the county clerk, where they shall be open to public inspection. The committee shall undergo, and I am going to look here parallel to the awesome work Mr. Sanders did, just to see if there's any notes here. In red, in a discussion point, the committee shall undergo a full review of this code every 5 years with recommendations for updates submitted to the county commission. Now, this was a suggestion here, or it was a suggestion, if you look later in the document, as a brand new section 12. So I had just put those both out there. I didn't know if there was a preference to the board, or if there was a preference or a suggestion from anybody else at the table. Or should we put this in here? I'm going to go a hefty yes. All right. Everybody okay with a 5-year timeline?
I'm fine with that.
Mr. Hilliard? Placement thereof, should it be within this section or a brand new section? I almost think it would make more impact in a brand new section myself as I look at it. Mr. Kennedy, any thoughts?
It could go either way, honestly. I mean, this section just mainly outlines the ethics committee and who it's comprised of. This is more of a task, so maybe that does make sense to put it under someplace different.
Mr. Hilliard nodding somewhere different. Ms. Gibson?
I like the news section just because when you start getting into all those bullet points, I kind of get lost in the weeds. And like when you see it in a news section, it stands out. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Goodpasture?
I'm fine with that, and then we can always come back and revise, but I think deleting it from here and leaving it in section 12 makes sense.
All right. We have agreement and consensus from the board. We will still keep section M labeled and then the darker words there too, Mr. Kennedy. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's already there?
Yep, already done.
Any other changes or suggestions to section 8?
I have one, sir.
Please,
Under section J,
sir.
it says notice of all vacancies on the ethics committee shall be published in a newspaper of general circulation. I believe we're also doing that digitally already, so I think we should mention that or take out the newspaper requirement.
I think they changed the verbiage of it, commission did a while back, to say a newspaper that is free, not a subscription-based. But Mr. Sanders, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
So we're in J under section 8. 8J.
As I recall, that is the general language of appropriate public notice. So the question is whether we can say a free newspaper?
Well, I don't remember the language, but I feel like it was a few years ago. They changed it to say something along the lines of, it's in a newspaper that's available to the general public without a subscription. So I don't, because everything's gone digital now. Newspaper's almost unheard of.
I could check. I mean,
I don't remember.
If this language is antiquated, we can certainly check it and update it.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. That's part one of that, and then part two was Mr. Goodpaster's suggestion about digital. So Oh, yes, sir. Mr. Sanders.
So you're asking whether we can do a digital notice of meetings, is that in lieu of printed or in addition to printed? In addition to, the answer is easy, yes. In lieu of, I will tell you, the school board does do in lieu of. And so far, they've not gotten sued for it. The rest of the county does printed. And I think if you ask the law director, he would say do printed.
Could we, and you're comfortable, Mr. Sanders, with both?
I'm certainly comfortable with both.
Mr. Goodpaster, are you good with that?
We're doing that, and so I think this should reflect that we are actually doing
Good.
that, so the public knows that it's in newspaper or posted online.
Love it. All right. Mr. Kennedy, could you kindly find the verbiage on that, or Mr. Sanders, Mr. Kennedy, you had suggested the free part. If you could just, not today, but if you could kindly find the verbiage.
Yep.
And then we could also add, Mr. Goodpaster, I don't know if you have verbiage you'd like to add regarding digital notice. What did you do?
I just put and posted online to the Knox County website. So-
You're an English connoisseur, brother. Thank you. Anything else on Section 8?
Yes, sir.
Sir?
On section K, I had the thought, it says all ethics committee members shall participate in ethics training held by the Knox County Department of Human Resources within 90 days of his or her appointment. I'm assuming that that's essentially the video that we watch, but acknowledging that we've done that or proving it or putting it of record, I don't recall how that's done, or if we have done it. Take you at your word. So is that sufficient, or might we add, said training shall be confirmed by an affirmative statement provided to the law director? I mean, that's a check mark, or to the committee.
I'll say the law director doesn't really have a resource for receiving that information or maintaining it, but, Mr. Kennedy perhaps can answer this question. Are Knox County Ethics Committee members considered employees within the sense of having a file developed on them?
No, they're not. So, but we could create an acknowledgement form or something similar to what we do for county team members, and just, they just sign off on it.
And could we say submitted to the chair?
It would just elevate the process and confirm that it was reviewed and give us a place to have the checklist of here's what is part of the training. I think that would elevate the process for everybody.
Mr. Sanders, chair, to the chair, just notification to the chair? Okay.
Sure. I mean, this is not a legal question, so, I mean, whatever procedure you want to do is fine basically we're talking about what the Ethics Committee chooses to do for its own members.
Yeah, I would say notification to the chair. Are you good with that, Mr. Goodpaster?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hilliard?
Yes.
Ms. Gibson? Sweet. Okay, now I'm putting it out there too. Do we have, we're elevating people to look at things on a yearly basis. It's not a bad reminder, question mark, to see this film on a yearly basis, to remind us of what our stead is and that we're here to serve the people of Knox in an ethical and kindly way. Because what are our term? What's our term? 4-year. That's what I thought.
I could also see like the full committee having a training, a live thing, go through it, talk about it, together, and that way that would accomplish that as well. You don't want to be overly burdensome, would be my thought.
Correct. Ms. Bennett, did we used to do that as a full committee?
It seems like we have in the past at times, at the November meeting, which is the reorganization of the meeting, had a little basic review. I don't know if that would, Marcus could probably show the video. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, we could watch it right now if you wanted.
Twice.
It's
Could
fairly short.
Why don't we add that to our reorg meeting review of, I'm putting that out there as a suggestion, that we put up the movie, and then the public can see it as well, and I would enjoy that very much.
And in addition to that review, we could also, talk about what documents exist and structure and things like that, just an overall training. I think that'd be helpful. What resources are available, who sits here, that kind of thing. It'd be a great meeting, I think.
And could I suggest we don't say November reorg, because the reorg meeting may slide, but during the annual reorganization meeting, that we review the training video, ethics training. I would say the ethics training video and other ethics training as deemed as appropriate.
Also here, it says it's held by the Knox County Department of Human Resources. I don't know if it's really held. I mean, it's a resource that we access. There is no, you don't go there and do something, so.
Yeah, that always has kind of made me scratch my head a little bit, because you all, ethics committee members are not team members, and HR department is under the executive branch. So we really don't have much purview, but we've done a lot to put things on the website to make things, centralized in, 21st century, make it easier for people to access. So.
Do we say held by the chair of the ethics committee?
I'd change it already on there just to say it's available online. And what I can do eventually is add the hyperlink. Excuse me. So once this is finalized, it'll actually have the hyperlink in there too, where they click on it, it'll take them right to the website.
Okay. So, Mr. Kennedy, do we need to add? And my eyesight is of course not getting better as I get older. Do we add on there the annual review of or have we?
No, I have not, but we can. Let's see.
Mr. Kennedy, as you do this, I'm going to call on Commissioner Frazier. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a working line, but that was going to be my suggestion, is possibly including another section that just addresses reorganization of the body.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So a new letter, and I would do that right after K, so make that.
Okay.
A whole new section or a whole new subsection? Okay.
Yeah, so L would now be training at the reorg meeting.
I'm just putting that in there just as, I'll clean it up. It's
Thank
just
you.
throwing my thoughts on there, and I can come up with better language for it. That sounds a little more professional versus off the cuff right now.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. All right. Anything further on Section 8? Ms. Gibson?
No, sir.
Mr. Hilliard?
No, sir.
Mr. Goodpaster? No. All right. Section 9. So Section 9, Mr. Sanders has made a wonderful comment to the board. And again, I'm just going off of the sheet that and the diligence that Mr. Sanders had done here over the past month. Under Section 9, in the red, it says anonymous complaints may now be submitted via secure hotline for initial review. Mr. Sanders, would you like to read your comments, or would you like me to read your comments?
Certainly, with the permission of the committee, I am glad to read the comments.
Thank you, sir. Yes, please.
And in a more accurately explain, I'll read it first. And what I did was I essentially struck that line. And my rationale for it is that it's at odds with the rest of the section. That is, a section states that complaints shall be in writing, sworn unto under oath, in the presence of a notary public and signed by the person making the complaint. And this is completely at odds with, an anonymous complaint is completely at odds with that. And there's really no way to take action on it. this is an either-or choice, essentially. And I would also point out that the Ethics Committee is not an investigative body. That is, they don't have the ability to go out and chase down anonymous tips. Now, there is a Department of Internal Audit already within the county that's actually very, very good at their job, and they can take anonymous tips and chase down issues. You know, if somebody says there's money missing from such and such account, they can go look and find out what's happening. But that doesn't seem to be, the suggestion of an anonymous tip line for ethics does not seem to be consistent with the rest of how the ethics complaint process is structured.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Any comments from the committee? Ms. Gibson?
Refresh my memory when we changed the website to the anonymous complaint. We talked about this a couple of meetings ago. And that link does go to the audit department?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up right there. So this will take you to the internal audit website where they can.
So my only question would be, audit and fiscal responsibility is where that leads. However, there are several ethical things that would not fall under the audit department.
Sure.
That aren't necessarily illegal by the standards of the law, but they're not morally or ethically sound that someone may want to bring to our attention that doesn't necessarily fall under the scope of that department.
Yeah, that's where it's a little tricky. So if it's something under the executive branch, then HR would obviously be involved.
Right.
If it's an employment matter. We work closely with internal audit because they'll receive some stuff that may be for us and vice versa. And we've got a great working relationship with them until something is established that, could do a little more in that regard. It may be okay just to leave this out of here, but leave the website like it is. It's just another path for someone to get to file an anonymous complaint. And that's still going to be a good repository for people to go into. And if they want to make a complaint, they can, and then they'll triage it and send it to where it may need to go.
My question would be if an ethical complaint went to that anonymous entity, then it kind of takes it out of our hands as the ethics committee.
Yeah.
Would they in turn send that back to us? I think this is very important when it comes to transparency and giving the public an alternative to submit. And I do understand the repercussions of not having someone sign their name or getting something notarized. However, I also understand that there are several individuals that work for certain entities that would like to file complaints, but they cannot, and they can most certainly not, I assure you, put their name to something. And I believe it's important to have that avenue for someone to at least be able to report it. Whether or not we could do anything with it is, out of our hands, but to take that away from them and is kind of handcuffing the whole spirit of transparency in a sense that they have an avenue to do that.
Yeah, I get it, and I agree with you. I mean, like Mr. Sanders said, we don't really have the authority under the ethics committee as it is, and we're not an investigative body. But I think if folks know that internal audit is there, that even HR is there, they can still use this tool, and it's going to get into internal audit, and they're going to look at it, and they're going to decide, all right, this needs to go to someone. Who does it go to? And then it'll
Right.
And I know what you're saying. If people are worried about saying something, it's difficult. But if somebody's doing something wrong, speak up. Just speak up. Sometimes
Sometimes that doesn't always work out.
I know it doesn't, but it's difficult. So I don't have an answer for you. I could give the HR answer. It
Maybe
depends.
that's something we'll get to when we get down to the whistleblower section or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Gibson, thank you. Points well taken, absolutely. Mr. Goodpaster, you had a comment.
I think it would make us all feel comfortable if we knew that internal audit, if a trigger, let's just say something comes in and Marcus said triage, if then those people are directed to a formal ethics complaint. And then that comes in with the notary and all the full-on process, so that it's, we also have to protect somebody from being accused of something that they didn't do, that kind of thing. So do we have that do we know that internal audit would triage and send somebody to a formal complaint process? I mean, we don't, is that just something, we send them a letter and say, hey, would you please send this over?
I don't want to speak for Zach, so I'm not sure, but I'm happy to have a discussion with him and bring up some of these hypotheticals and just see what he thinks, and he might be able to come down to the next meeting too, just to provide some clarity on what they do, what they receive, how they look at it.
Or at least, yes, that's a great idea, but we also need to be forward thinking about how are we going to tackle that?
Yep.
Like, I can tell you right now, when somebody gets sent to the audit or whatever they do with the procedures for being an anonymous whatever, once they are sent to have to sign a formal affidavit or get a notary to, I guess, well, you see where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Once that process, they're going to be dead in the water. They're not going to move forward with that.
Right.
And again, I do understand the protection of false allegations and all that, but surely we're smart enough to weed through. Maybe not. I don't know, but my 2 cents.
No, you're good. I get what you're saying. I really do, and I agree. It's difficult. I can't give a good answer, and I'm sure Mr. Sanders can chime in and provide some other aspects to it. But I don't know.
Maybe we just invite him to the meeting and then we just talk about it and see where it goes from there. Maybe he has a solution we haven't even thought of.
Yeah, true.
Mr. Kennedy, if you could kindly follow up with the gentleman and invite him to the next meeting, that'd be great.
Consider it
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to go back first and say thank you to the body for doing this work. I failed to mention that earlier, and I want to say thank you because this is very important work, and I appreciate everyone's commitment and effort on this initiative. Just to go back to a comment that was made that ethics is not an investigative body, perhaps that is a larger question that this body would want to consider. Just a quick search, government ethics committees can become an investigative body. I don't know how that would fall within the state statute, but perhaps that is a separate conversation. To Ms. Gibson's point, to Mr. Goodpasture's point, I do see that we have individuals or constituents, the general public, as well as individuals working within Knox County who may want an avenue to anonymously report something of question or concern. And maybe that, again, goes back to the broader question of being a quasi-judicial body, as you are currently, to include an investigative component to the work of the body. So just a consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner, thank you so much. What I suggest to the committee is to take Commissioner Frazier's comments and points to heart. Let's finish this part. Let's finish the Code of Ethics as presented, and then let's have that discussion once we've kind of codified where we're at, because that right there is a bigger discussion, a much bigger discussion, and I'd like to give it the attention it deserves. Does that sound fair? Commissioner, are you good with that, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am. That was an affirmative for those watching at home. All right. We're still in section 9. So as of right now, we're going to kind of leave this one in cloud limbo. Leave it on, but that it's nothing formalized. Mr. Kennedy is going to connect with, is it Mr.?
It's Zach Fullerton. He's he's head over internal audit. So
Thank you, sir.
I'll connect with him.
Thank you. All right. Good to move on within section 9?
Yes.
All right, section 9, Mr. Goodpaster.
To the same point Commissioner Frazier brought up, I guess the paragraph would be, the next paragraph starting with, initially, the Knox County Law Director shall determine if complaint meets And it's about the third sentence in there. It says the Ethics Committee may undertake an investigation on its own initiative when it acquires non-hearsay information indicating a possible violation, I just circled that and said how, because there is no function right now. So I don't think needs to be here, or it needs to be in its own world. It seems to me like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you guys can go investigate. Well, we don't have any capacity to do that. So why are we saying that?
So just to reiterate on this part, and Mr. Goodpaster, great point. I'm going to read the sentence as a whole. This ethics committee may undertake an investigation on its own initiative, okay, when it acquires non-hearsay information indicating a possible violation of those provisions in the Code of Ethics. All right, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I think it would still have to go through the formal complaint, sworn complaint, and the law director's office would have to see that.
Well, exactly. Mr. Sanders, does this conflict with the first two sentences, sir?
Not necessarily. It may simply be that investigation is being used as to mean simply to undertake the process of evaluating the complaint. I haven't looked at that section with that in mind, and I would certainly I'd want to look at it more detail and go through exactly how this was cobbled together. I imagine, like lots of living documents, it's cobbled over time, and it may be that a phrase got left in from a previous iteration that's now no longer carries the same meaning and context. So I don't know. I did not, since that was not redlined, I just moved on past it.
Sure.
But I would stand by the fact there are simply no resources for this body to conduct, or the Ethics Committee as a whole, to conduct an investigation on its own. I suppose it can have a meeting and call someone before it and ask questions in that sense, as Commissioner Frazier elaborated, a quasi-judicial body almost. But you don't have an employee you can send out to interview people.
So, Mr. Sanders, for me, the conflict I potentially see is the Ethics Committee may undertake an investigation on its own initiative, to me conflicts with the complaint must go through the law director's office, which I agree it should. I'm just saying that's the part I'd like you to look at and opine on after the meeting, if you're okay with that, sir.
I am okay with that. I can add that to whatever I get sent. I'm hoping that, again, we get a sort of a red line, blue line, purple line, whatever we're up to document that I can then look at and review. And if that could just be in the side comments to review that for consistency, I'd be glad to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair,
Ma'am?
if I may,
Yes, Commissioner Frazier.
perhaps you may want to amend the language to state the Ethics Committee may conduct a review rather than an investigation, because that is within your purview to conduct a review.
Thank you. We'll add that into Mr. Sanders' review, and thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Frazier.
Can I just get some clarification on the very first sentence following
Please.
under section 9? Questions and complaints regarding conflicts of interest shall be directed to the Knox County Law Director. So when someone does fill out a sworn affidavit, and that whole process, even if it's online, that's directed to whom? It's my understanding that comes to us, it goes to the law director's office, and then they determine if it comes to us?
It's under policies and procedures, which by memory states that it goes to the law director's office. The law director will notify the chair of the full committee that a complaint has been filed, but it's the law director's, and this is all by memory, so please
No, that's why I'm getting
look at it.
clarification to make sure that
Yeah.
I understand exactly.
And the chair is only notified, the law director sees that the form is filled out properly, that it's notarized, that it's signed and it's not anonymous, and that it has merit to the law. Mr. Sanders, did I do okay on that?
I think you did. What I'd analogize to, if anybody's familiar with civil litigation, there's a process of challenging a complaint when it's filed, where the defendant might say that it fails to state a claim. That is, presuming all the facts are true, not getting into whether to try to evaluate the truth of the facts, but presuming that all the facts are true. Does that state a complaint, a valid legal complaint? And essentially, that's the evaluation process we perform, is to, without assuming all the facts are true, we ask, does this complaint in fact violate the ethics policy? And then if we think it doesn't, we refer that to the committee and say, in our opinion, this doesn't even raise a valid complaint of an ethical violation. But in the event that it does, then the committee might have further work to do to then evaluate what happened and how, and actually act as a tribunal.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. And that was the part I left out. Would that be the respondent would be notified? The person that the complaint is filed against would also be notified?
It's certainly within the process, yes. At what point in the process, I am not sure.
That is under...
Well, that's the way I understood it, which is why I wanted to see clarification, because if for hypothetical purposes, that complaint goes to the law director's office and they deem it unreliable, then technically, correct me if I'm wrong, we would never even see the complaint.
The chair is notified that a complaint is filed.
But would the committee see the complaint?
I do not believe so.
I can't speak to that offhand. I don't know, but I did want to address one issue that Ms. Gibson was raising there. We don't make a determination of whether the complaint is reliable in the sense of, do we think this person is telling the truth or not? That's not our job.
Right.
And so we might make a determination the complaint is not correct. That is, for instance, somebody sent it in and didn't sign it and swear to it, or correctly filed, in which case normally we just simply send it back to the complainant and say, you need to fix this if you want us to act any further on it. But again, the sense in which we might say that the complaint, in our opinion, the complaint doesn't require any further action is even if assuming that it's true. Say, for instance, somebody said that Mr. Kennedy bought a $100,000 car. That's not an ethics violation. Right. I mean, it may be eyebrow raising. It may not be, depending on one's point of view, but it's not an ethics violation. So we would simply write a memorandum that says, this came before us, and even assuming it's true that Mr. Kennedy bought a $100,000 car, that is not a violation of the ethics code.
Mr. Kennedy, is there a chance you could just bring up the policy and procedure just for all of our benefit? Ms. Gibson's bringing up a great point. And within that, my memory serves me that the chair will be notified once the law director receives a complaint, but it doesn't go any further there until the law director deems, as Mr. Sanders outlined, the validity of the complaint.
Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Hang on. You want the procedures of it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I think it's under H or I. It's way too early in the morning. Mm-hmm. Who made these meetings at 8:30?
You did.
Oh, forgot about that.
Mr. Chairman.
I must have done that early in the morning.
This it right here. Rule 4. Can y'all see that?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Upon receipt of a complaint from the law director, the chair shall submit the complaint to the members of the Ethics Committee. Okay, so there's something before that, the filing of the complaint. I think it's number 3, Ms. Bennett? 3.
Well, section 2, all proceedings before the Ethics Committee shall be commenced by the complainant filing a sworn complaint under penalty and perjury with the Knox County Law Director.
D, the law director shall conduct a review of the complaint within 10 days to determine if it is signed under oath and meets, and if it asserts a violation of code of ethics. The defects, this is E, this is Mr. Sanders addressed that if there are defects of the complaint and has reasonable time to fix the defects. Mr. Kennedy, could you go to F? Thank you. There it is, G. If the complaint meets the requirements herein stated, and if there are no pending judicial proceedings as set out in Rule 3, because if it is so egregious, it will be remanded to the attorney, to the district attorney, as opposed to the Ethics Committee or to the state. The law director shall forward the complaint to the chair of the Ethics Committee for further processing. So there's your order of how a complaint is filed and when it hits the committee. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it gets into the weeds of the anonymous complaining, but we'll get to that because we tabled that conversation because this pretty much makes that nullified when it comes to the anonymous section that we tabled. But I'm getting into the weeds.
Well, and you know what? When we have this discussion next month, the tough thing with an anonymous
Right.
Complaint is that, again, we are not to the review of,
Right.
as Mr. Sanders said, of an investigative committee.
Right.
That's one. 2, the thing I struggle with, and I'm always open with the board and Mr. Sanders and Ms. Frazier, Commissioner Frazier, I often feel that our Constitution protects us that a defendant shall face their accuser. So I struggle with that as well. All right.
Mr.
Good.
Chair,
Where are we? Commissioner Frazier.
if I may. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps you want to include a statement under Section 9 that just to affirm what Ms. Gibson said, that the committee shall receive notice of all complaints. I think that was something she was trying to kind of get in the weeds a little bit about, of do you receive notice if a complaint has been filed, if the law director and the department is reviewing it? I think what she's saying is, which when we looked into the policy, it did state that the chair is notified and the body would be notified. But that was something when I served on ethics that I too questioned. Why isn't the body notified of all complaints, and that there was an investigation or review being conducted by the law department? It seemed as it only came to the body if it was a credible violation or it had been dismissed. My question at the time was, I would like to be informed if any complaint has been filed and there was a review being conducted. So perhaps maybe just a statement that the committee shall receive notice of all complaints. And then also under Section 9, the word credible, potentially you want to take that a step further and define what is credible. That could be interpreted several ways, but the word credible there, maybe consider elaborating a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. So to point 1, just for discussion among the committee, I 100% hear what the commissioner's saying regarding notifying the committee, that would be the ethics committee, of any ethics complaint that's filed with the law department. Now, my one pause on that is that 25 people could file a complaint against Mr. Kennedy for buying the $100,000 car. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. And it is not credible at all, and it is amazing what sticks out there, even though it's not credible. We'll define that. I love that. And that there's no merit to it whatsoever, but it's amazing how once that's put out there, that Mr. Kennedy has it around his neck all the days of his life. So I think I wrote that down, and Miss Commissioner Frazier, if it's okay if we absorb that, that would be great. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Anything else in 9? We had we had another comment on 9 here. I had submitted at the end of 9, the very last sentence in red, so upon final deliberation, the committee may, and then it lists 5 points. And then it says the interpretation that a reasonable person in the circumstances would apply shall be used in interpreting and enforcing this code of ethics. When a violation of this code of ethics also constitute a violation of personnel policy or civil policy, or criminal act, the violation shall be dealt with as a violation of the personal or civil service provisions or criminal violation rather than as a violation of the code of ethics. Okay, that is saying the things not in our purview, they go over there. That's district attorney, that's the state or federal. Here, Mr. Sanders has a great comment here. So what was added for discussion: enforcement is strengthened with potential fines up to $10,000 for serious violations aligned with standard U.S. penalties. Mr. Sanders, did you want to comment on what you wrote here, which I think is very appropriate?
Well, sure. I mean, it's self-explanatory. The ethics committee does not have the authority to issue fines. I don't see any point in writing that. And if what you, I assume you're the author, whoever the author meant was to put people on notice that they might be subject to penalty, then I think that's fairly evident regarding the rest of the language there. But I mean, obviously you could write something that says they may be subject to separate penalty by appropriate authorities, but the ethics committee does not have the authority to fine. So the county commission doesn't have the authority to fine somebody.
I am fine striking that. And again, I just put some things in there for further discussion. So thank you for that. Are you all okay striking that?
Yes.
And I don't see rewording anything. Mr. Sanders had made a suggestion that we could reword. I think that that's all implicit in that previous paragraph. Okay. Anything else in 9?
Yes, sir.
Sir, Mr. Goodpaster.
Thank you. Coming back to number 2 in the list.
Yes.
It says, did the respondent corruptly use or attempt to use his or her official position? Sorry, skip to 3. Did the respondent disclose or use information not available? I thought we could insert there, or not then available to members of the general public. So it's the first line that says 3. Said, did the respondent disclose or use information not available, comma, or not yet available, or not then available?
Sir, I'm not following you. Where are you, sir? What page?
It's C. I've got it pulled up.
Sorry, y'all, but, section 9,
Yes. C as in cat?
no, number 3.
The first number 3 under section 9.
Yeah.
First, number 3.
It is C in
Mr.
your
Chair,
packet on
if-
page
if-
11.
It appears that these two documents have different numbering and lettering systems.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
Yeah.
Just for
That's fine.
clarification. Under section 9, in the red line version that Mr. Kennedy and I were working under, they're simply numbered 1, 2, 3, but apparently one of the documents you're working off of, they're lettered. It's page 11 as the one that, the new, I don't know what to call it, the fancy document.
Okay, Guy got you, thank you. Give me some grace, I was born in Mississippi, so stop with the letters and the numbers, all right? All right.
So was I. That's not an excuse.
Hey, brother. All right, so I have a number 3 that says, did the respondent disclose?
Yep.
Are you
Did the
following?
respondent disclose?
Yeah,
Yes,
you, Mr.
thank you. All right.
thank you.
So let's go back to it. So number 3 or C, did the respondent disclose or use information not available or not then available to members of the general public? There was some talk here a while back of somebody got inside information on some lots and that kind of thing and acquired them, tax sale stuff, and then did that. So that information may have been available, but it wasn't then available, and it was, inside baseball or insider trading kind of thing. So anyway, that was my suggestion there.
Clarity one more time on your suggestion. What,
Is
where
to
you
insert after the word available,
Mm-hmm.
comma, or not then available, comma.
Or not readily available. Or then, same thing, semantics. Yeah.
I think it's encompassing, I could be wrong, I think it's encompassing the not available statement. Sir? Mr. Sanders?
Yeah, I was about to say, I just wanted to, I believe that what Mr. Goodpasture's trying to do is avoid the possibility that by the time the review happens, the information is public, in which case someone might raise a defense theoretically, well, the information is available, so I've not committed an offense, even though it was not available at the time of the offense. And that's, you all can do what you want with that. I did want to comment to whatever I heard over on my left ear about readily available. That's an entirely different issue. If it's public, but someone doesn't go to the effort of looking for it. That is, if something's made public, but it may not be widely publicized, that's entirely different from something that's not public at all.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Mr. Goodpasture,
Yes.
I think I'm on the same page with you now. Would it be appropriate, did the respondent disclose or use information not available, comma, or available at the time of complaint?
It's certainly like minutia here.
Right.
And if as it's written, is it sufficient, I'm fine with that. I made the notes.
I love that I love that you're all looking at this and all have input. That is so important. So, did the respondent disclose or not available? And actually, I'm just putting on legal stuff in my head. It's actually, is it not available to members of the public at the time of complaint? It's not available to members of the public at the time of the incident.
Right.
Do we add that question?
I'm happy, we could insert that and leave it highlighted for later.
Mr. Kennedy, are not yet available to members, are not yet available at the time of the, let's say, incident. we'll figure out a different word for incident. Violation. Wonderful. Love it. All right. Mr. Kennedy? Are you all good? Or, no, sorry, Mr. Sanders. Are you all good, sir?
Yeah, as far as that's concerned, what I would caution the committee about, just in general, is when you have broad language can be very wide and all-encompassing. The further you narrow it, the further escape hatches you offer.
Agreed, Mr. Sanders. I do like the not available by itself after that statement, because that does give us broad. Does that make sense? Mr. Kennedy, if you could stat that wonderful verbiage you just typed out.
You want me to leave it or remove it?
Erase it.
Erase it.
Yes, sir. And we'll have the not available. Okay, anything else in 9?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's me again. Just a question. Under final deliberation, the committee may, and going back to something Mr. Sanders said about not being able to impose penalties or fines, as a quasi-judicial body, I was under the impression that you do have the authority to impose penalties, issue orders, or provide remedies to enforce their decisions. There isn't anything under final deliberation that the committee may do that. So I guess my question is, should the Ethics Committee have some sort of action that they can take beyond referring it to the law director, referring it to commission, referring it to an employee supervisor, the district attorney? But what actions can this body take should they wish to or find justification to?
As of right now, Commissioner, it is all a referral based. All 5, well, 4 of the 5 are referral based, as you noted, and then the 5th is take no action, right? Mm-hmm. So this committee, as of right now, has no authority to stress any penalties stemming from fines to job dismissal to anything. That would be determined by the other 4. Well, actually, even the law director would also be a reference in number 1. Mm-hmm. Mr. Sanders?
Yeah, I was about to say, respectfully, Commissioner Frazier, I don't believe that that's going to change. The law does not give the Ethics Committee the ability to, for instance, impose a fine. I mean, only a court can do that. And people have safeguards. People have liberty interests in their property. Their employer can't just take money from them. And the law is fairly explicit that the Ethics Committee does not step into the shoes of the employer. That is, the mayor is the employer for the majority of the county employees. His individual elected officers are the employers for the rest, and it's within their purview to take action against an employee, which might include termination. The law director is involved. I think the referral of the law director is essentially for the case of an elected official, in which there is no remedy against, short of essentially an ouster lawsuit, mm-hmm. which is the purview of the law department or the attorney general. And I think there's another body that might be able to bring it, but that's, I think, what that reference is for. I don't believe you're going to be able to structure a system in which that the Ethics Committee has that kind of teeth.
Thank you.
Mr. Sanders, thank you. Committee members still in 9? Mr. Goodpaster.
Yes, sir, and probably the broader point, based on this note here that I made is to look throughout the document in the description of the respondent or the respondent's spouse or child or household. Like defining that throughout the document, I think we need to make sure we're clean on all that, because there was discussion about talking about relatives, like who all's in this thing. There's ADUs now, and grandma lives in the back. But maybe we can ask that the law director's office take a look and make sure we're clean throughout the whole document in the description of the respondent and who's
And
involved.
relatives.
Yes. Like, how do you want to define that? Because we were talking about if we're broad, that's nice and powerful, right? As opposed to being super specific. And in section 9, number 1, which probably is A on another one, it says, did the respondent or the respondent's spouse or child living in the same household have a financial interest? Should that be expanded beyond those people?
Mr. Sanders.
Mr. Goodpasture, you might remember what I said earlier about living documents. I would suspect that's a artifact of a living document. And you're right. I mean, the way such things are typically written is you define a term once, and then you use the defined term throughout, so that you're not in this quandary of family in this section means X and family in that section means Y.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. So, Mr. Sanders, you'll be able to just check that out throughout the document on congruity?
Sure, and Ms. Bennett is pointing out to me that there is a definition section already under personal interest. So it may just be a matter of tweaking that a little bit and substituting some terms. But somebody please put that on my list. I'm not making a list as I'm sitting here.
Mr.
So-
Kennedy, do you have that, sir? As far as being able to do notes?
Yep, I can add that in there.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Anything else in 9? Mr. Hilliard? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Goodpaster? Ms. Gibson, best for last.
I would just like to clean it up a little bit because it doesn't match, and it's probably part of my OCD. Section A-1, whatever we're calling it. Some in section B, it's his or her official position. Then you move on to section C. Section D says on behalf of himself or any member of his household. I would just like to see that align throughout the section versus flipping back
Love
and
it.
forth.
Love it. Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, does that make sense, sir?
Yeah, I lost, sorry, I was looking at the table of contents.
That's okay. So Ms. Gibson
My
is
bad.
referring to we should have his and her consistent throughout the document as well. Where in many places it just states his.
Okay, gotcha.
Is that clear, Ms. Gibson? All right, thank you. Section 9, going once. Section Commissioner Frazier. Section 9, going twice. 3, gone. Section 10. Section 10, I had not suggested anything prior to the meeting. Any suggestions? Also from Mr. Sanders' working document to the team, there were no comments there either. Commissioner Frazier, anything in 10 that strikes your fancy? Woo-hoo! All right. Section 11 was put forth as a discussion point, and our Mr. Sanders had commented, I believe rightly so here. Mr. Sanders, are you okay opining to the committee and to the public? Section 10 was regarding outside employment and financial activities, and that county officials and employees must obtain prior approval from the Ethics Committee for any outside employment investments and so on. Mr. Sanders.
Right, and I think the best thing I could do here for section 11 the proposed section 11, which I have suggested simply striking, is to is to more or less review verbatim my comment that Tennessee statute, when defining ethical standards, it specifically says ethical standards do not include personnel or employment policies. And a lot of these issues strike me as, let's put it this way, the policy of prohibiting outside employment strikes me as an employment policy. So I don't think that under state law the ethics committee can do that. Now, there are moonlighting policies that each office holder has within their handbooks, as far as I know. And usually that's up to the discretion of the individual office holder, whether it's the mayor, the county clerk, whatever, as to permit, whether or not to permit outside employment. But I don't think the ethics committee has the ability to take that away. Now, I would point out that it's still incumbent under the current existing ethics code for someone to disclose if they have a conflicting relationship. You know, for instance, if they work for someone who contracts with the county, if they have a side job working for someone who contracts with the county, especially if they work in a part of the county that either buys from that contractor or is in purchasing, then of course they would have the obligation to disclose that and perhaps refrain from interactions with that entity. And it may be that their employer would prohibit that, but that's not the ethics committee job to prohibit it. And I don't think under the law, the ethics committee can prohibit it. Then we get into financial activity of county employees. Again, to say that the ethics committee has to approve, I mean, if I'm selling a batch of stock, to say that I've got to come to the ethics committee and ask permission to sell stock at their next quarterly meeting, that strikes me, that's just a tire bag of worms there, can of worms, I guess. You know, if somebody commits a crime or securities violation, which is a crime, then that's already enforceable under existing law. And ethics committee doesn't touch that sort of thing anyway. But for the ethics committee to say that essentially the Knox County government is restricting how a private individual, albeit an employee, can spend their own money, the law doesn't say anything about the ethics committee being able to do that. Now, again, you can say that they can have to disclose it. That's fine. And there may be specific instances where it's prohibited, but I don't think this ethics committee body, has that authority.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Thank you so much. Any other comments on the proposed verbiage on section 11?
I was just going to say, for reference, I pulled up our handbook.
Wonderful.
And so we have our section about secondary employment, moonlighting in there, and they have to basically report it annually, and it's reviewed, and they sign an acknowledgement form that goes into their personnel file, and HR will review it in case there is. And to my knowledge, we've never really had any issues that I know of. For the most part, people operate pretty ethically. So,
Thank you,
general
Mr. Kennedy.
team members. So,
I'd suggest that we erase this, stat this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. I just put these things out there because I love seeing y'all, and I just want to spend more time with you and go through this stuff. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. All right, section 12. This was the area where this had been submitted, I think, back in 2008 as a potential. And we agreed that should be put in there, but we were looking at placement. Should it be 8 or should it be, this would now be section 11. And I think I heard from a couple of you to have a standout section. Mr. Hilliard?
Yes, that's correct. I think it's probably more appropriate to have a standalone section.
Ms. Gibson? You agree with Mr. Hilliard's? Yes. Mr. Goodpaster?
I agree with that, and I think the last sentence that's here should either be moved or not included in this, which says all officials and employees must complete annual ethics training.
That also was stated here as a recommendation by Mr. Sanders as well, to take out the second sentence. And I would agree with that unless there's any challenges. Mr. Kennedy?
No, you're good. We already do that anyway, too.
So we would keep the verbiage as is section 11, policy review and training. This code shall be reviewed every 5 years by the Ethics Committee with public input solicited. So we would take that out. Was that in 7 or 8?
8. We had it under M, section
yes.
8, letter M.
Okay, so the letter M will stay in section 8, but just the first sentence and the second will be erased and put into section 11. Does that sound good for the committee? Mr. Sanders, any other comments, or did I cover your comments well?
I believe you've covered them.
Thank you, sir. Okay. I believe the next steps, Commissioner Frazier, thank you for being a gracious guest here today. This is your resolution that was passed unanimously by the commission, and I hope that you're pleased with the work that the committee is putting forward. I did have somebody from the public ask if this was just a show and if we're actually doing any meaningful work, which my answer to that person was, have you watched us online? And they did not respond. So I said I'd urge you to do that, and I'd urge you to have public comment if needed to that person that made that. What I suggest here is Mr. Sanders had sent us comments on all the sections that we reviewed. I say we go back, review those individually offline. Don't comment online, don't comment with each other, no discussion of it in between meetings. And when we get back together, we can discuss that. We do have to come up with meeting times, which we'll put out there. Ms.
Before you get too far away, I do have one question.
Oh, Miss. Oh, no way. Who saved that? Here. Nobody better than Miss Bennett. Miss Gibson.
I
you had a
promise I'll be
comment.
quiet after this one. Just the very last section, we didn't really cover on that, how that's just thrown in there.
Where are you?
I'm on the very last
Section.
page. Technically, it's going to be new section 11, but it falls currently under the section 12. The Knox County Code of Ethics, Conflict of Interest Disclosure Statement, which according to how it's written now falls under section 3. I would just suggest that under section 3, we add some language that says, and move this to an appendix so it doesn't look like it falls under section 12, and just make this conflict of interest disclosure statement as an attachment or as an appendix A, so that when they see this, they're like, well, how does this fall in? And again, just from a layman's position, just sticking it there under section 12 looks like it's part of section 12 if you don't know exactly what you're looking at.
I really like that suggestion. Mr. Kennedy, could you put that on a separate page, sir? And
Yeah, it's on a separate page, but what I can do is reference it and I'll call this like attachment A or appendix A or whatever you want to call it, and tie it back to section 3.
Yeah, and then add that language under,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
wonderful.
Sorry.
Wonderful. No, thank you.
On that topic, sir.
Sir, Mr. Goodpaster.
Yeah, I think we can beef up this disclosure statement in a couple different ways, but the first thing would be to take the second sentence and move it to the first, to where it starts out and it says officials and employees are required to disclose personal interests, and then after that, the instructions. And then add a submit to section that says where this good thing goes, because right here, there's no guidance as to who do you submit it to. So we're trying to make everything easy for people.
Woohoo.
I agree.
Yeah.
We could even, move the instructions so it's a cleaned up version of the document. We can move the instructions under section 3.
And then under section 3, direct them to Appendix A.
Correct. Or attachment A, appendix
Love
A.
it. Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Mr. Kennedy, are you comfortable with that?
Yep, I'll work on that.
Thank you, sir. All right. The next,
Mr. Biddle, it's just to say, I usually block off the whole year. That is just a date in case the ethics committee wanted to meet. So far, we haven't. If you wanted to use that, or you could pick a different date.
is that the only date we have going forward, Ms. Bennett? You didn't do anything in February or March, right?
February, we have an ethics committee meeting,
A regular
a
one?
regular meeting set
But-
for February 11th. But you do not have any
Okay.
dates that you did for the subcommittee.
So what I'd propose, thank you so much, Ms. Bennett, January 14 at 8:30 a.m. Would that work for everybody? Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Goodpaster, Ms. Gibson? You say January? January 1/4 at 8:30 a.m. Mr. Hilliard, you good? Yeah, I know. I love it. Mr. Sanders?
Most likely, but if I'm not here, then we'll have somebody here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. The next meeting, and this will be public noticed, and we are out more than far enough, but the next meeting of the Ethics Committee Subcommittee will be January 1/4 of 2026. Mr. Hilliard, how'd we get to 2026? At 8:30 a.m. in this room, Ms. Bennett? Wonderful. Ms. Bennett and I will propose future dates for February and March to the committee, and we will take it from there. Are there any public comments? Anything?
No one's on that.
There are no public comments at this time. Any other business to come before this committee? There being none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Goodpaster,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Hilliard. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes carry. Have a blessed and Merry Christmas, everybody.